Hello, my creative friends. Today I'm going to show you how to put together a happy birthday box card with rosebuds, and this is one of the first box cards I've made. I've been experimenting and trying to see what's an easy way to do this, and hopefully this will help you as you try to put these together. Most of my box cards will be designed very similar to this. I try to do the little shadow outlines on the layers so that you can see easily where everything goes. And so I guess we'll get started. All right, so I have everything cut out, all my layers, all my flowers and leaves, and I went ahead and applied the happy birthday to the front part of the card. So what I'm going to do next is take this next layer, which is the little flowers, little white flowers. Let's set this over. And I'm going to go ahead and glue this part to the front. These are really impressive when you get them put together. And I gave one to my mom for her birthday, excuse me, here recently. She just turned 85 and she loved it. She loves a pretty card, so she liked it especially well, I think, because it was one I had designed and made for her. So I experimented. She got the prototype. And okay, now that I have the happy birthday glued to the front, I'm gonna put these little white flowers on, and you may have to twist them and flip them over just to get the flowers lined up correctly. But before I glue, I think I will try to figure that out. You can kind of tell by looking at it a little bit. There we go. There's that. And then, let's see. Doesn't seem right. Let's try this way. There we go. Okay, they should line up perfectly. So just be patient with yourself and try to get it on there. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue down, and I just put kind of random on there, and put the little flowers. There we go. And what I'll do at the end, once we get all this finished and let the glue dry a little bit, I'm going to put just a little bit of gel pen in the center of the flowers, like a glittery gel pen, and it just really makes it pop. So I'll show you how I do that once we get it all together and let the glue dry just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside for just a minute. I'll let it dry. And then the next layer, now a lot of people, or some of the designs I've seen, people will make this part of the actual box that you have to fold. I was trying to think of ways I could still give it dimension but not have to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the leaves on first, and then I'm going to put some pop dots across it, and then put the front on. And that way we'll get some dimension without having to do a whole lot of folding. So I'm going to pick up my bigger leaves. There's, as you can see, these at the top are just a little bit fatter and smaller. So they're going to go on the back, but this one is going to go right there. And I like to just place everything before I glue it down to make sure it looks the way I want it to. And I've got it in the right spot. Okay, so that one's going to go here. This one is a little bit bigger as well, and it's going to go there. And these, you can see through these little slits a little bit, but it's okay because it's going to be covered up a little bit. You won't be able to see it when, once we get it put together, you won't even notice it. But I did want to have that look of the two different colors. So that one's going to go there, and then this one will go here. Okay, so I'm going to layer those up since I have them where I want them. And these three are all the same, so you just have to get them turned the right direction. Okay. Yeah, this makes a really impressive card when you're done. I do like, as y'all know, I like my tweezers because, whoops, that to get off too much. And if these are off just a little bit, it really won't matter because the colors are so close. Okay, so that one actually looks like it might go over here a little better. Maybe not. I don't think it's going to matter. I'm just going to put it down. The perfectionist in me wants it to be perfect, but honestly, it doesn't have to be. Okay, so this one I'm going to put here. Glue that down. See, that's off a little bit. I don't think it's going to matter. And then this one I'll put here. I do like this glue, the glue tip on it. It's really nice for all these little bitty detailed things. Some of that did not cut out, but I think I'm gonna just leave it alone. Well, maybe I can get it. I think I'll just leave it. I don't want to tear the paper. All right, and then this one is gonna go right here. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, that looks pretty good. I like it. And so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put pop dots on the back of this piece so that it will pop out just a little bit, but still not be too big, too thick. Actually, I think what I'll do is find my gel pen that I want to use and do that first before I do the pop dots. And this is just a silver gel pen that I have, very glittery. These are, what is this one? I've got all kinds of these, a hybrid dual metallic. I don't remember what brand it is. Pentel. So what I'll do is I will take the pen and just make like little feathered centers like this on the little flowers, and it just gives it that little extra glittery bling that I like, and it looks really, I don't know if you can see the shine on that, but it's pretty good. I got these off of Amazon, and these are some of my favorites just because they are so glittery and the color is really really true to color and very pure, I guess. This again is the Pentel hybrid dual metallic, and some of these have like double colors. Like it'll write two colors at the same time, which is kind of fun. But I'm just making these look sort of like following along how the little petals go out. But see, that looks so cute and really just adds a little extra something to it. Okay, so now I'm going to do my pop dots. So I'm just going to put these all kind of like 3 or 4 down the center. Make sure I'm in the camera so you guys can see. Oops. Sticky fingers. All right, and then I do want to be careful with the gel pens because they take a minute to dry, but this is, I'm going to line this up across the bottom. And see that those pop dots give it just enough. And unless you look close, you don't see the where my leaves are off just a little bit. Okay, so that's done. So I'm going to set that aside for just a minute till I get ready for the other parts. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to do now this is the middle part, and I'm going to take my rosebuds outline, and this one I line up. You can put it really anywhere, but when I designed it, I put it. I designed it where these little petals right here would kind of fit that curve. So that's about where I want it to go. So I'm going to glue this down flat. So this one I'm going to, what you can do is just kind of eyeball it, or you can take a pencil and just kind of mark it in a couple of spots. Just so I know where my glue's going to go. And I'm just going to glue this top part, and you won't even see the pencil marks once I get it put together. All right. Okay, now that I have that shadow layer glued down in the back, and you can glue these stems down if you want, but I didn't even bother with it because this is plenty of glue up here. I'm going next to glue down my leaves, and then I'll do the rosebuds. All right, so I'm going to take this little bit bigger one and glue it down over here. Okay, and then I've got this one to glue down. Again, just kind of check it to make sure that's the one that you need. And remember, you can always go back and look at the design on your computer and get a good idea of where everything is supposed to go. Okay, so I have these 3 layers for my rosebuds. I've got the dark layer, kind of a medium red, and a lighter red. And I tried to make it where it would be really easy and you wouldn't have to do a lot of little pieces. So I'm going to double check, make sure this is the one that's going to go there. Make sure everything lines up, and then I'm going to glue it down. And this should help make it a lot easier because you're not having to do each individual rows. And I think this would look really good with glitter paper, but I am running low on glitter paper, so I just did it with plain. It's all personal preference, whatever you like. Okay, so this one's going to go next. And just a little bit of glue. Make sure everything attaches. And line that up. A little bit of extra glue off. And see, this would look pretty even without this top layer, but that top layer just gives it a little extra bit of dimension. And this one's a little trickier, just trying to make sure that those cut lines line up. So add my glue. And you really, I mean, unless you just really want to, you don't have to glue those little skinny edges, because if you put enough on the bigger edges, it's going to be plenty to hold it down. All right, so these kind of line up in the middle, right on those little petals. Okay, and then that part is done. Okay, so I'm going to sit this off to the side for a minute. And, oh, actually, I'm going to go ahead and do my little bitty flowers. So I made these to go just kind of like right here at the base of the leaves. And it doesn't matter what direction, just whatever you think looks good. I just wanted to give it a little extra filler going on there. Same with this one. Kind of like that. And again, I'm going to go ahead and do my little bit of silver in the middle there, just to give it a little bling, a little sparkle. All right, so that's done. I'll set that off. And then the back part of the card, I have some stems that goes behind the flowers. Whoops. And this one, again, you just need to kind of play with it. I might be better off trying to see where the flowers go first. It's a little tricky. You can kind of tell, but whoops. I think it goes this way. Yep, there we go. And then the stems, you can either do them on top if you want. They kind of line up, or if you want to just flip it over or tuck it under, you can. So I think I'm gonna do mine tucked under, because this part back here won't matter so much. And then just kind of make sure that's what I want it to look like. So I'll glue that down. And honestly, you really don't even need these if you don't want to do them. I don't know, I always like to add the extra details, these stems, but you could absolutely do it without it if you wanted to. I just think it kind of pulls it together a little bit. All right, so that's gonna go there. Again, just little dots in the middle to kind of secure that. And we're getting close to being done. All right, again with this one, make sure I have it turned the way I want it to go. And you can kind of see where that little stem part is, so you can line it up. Okay. Glue this one down. Okay. I just sort of aim for the middle of those flowers there with that stem. And then again, I need to play with it just a little bit to make sure I have the flowers in the right position, and that looks good. When I revised this design just a little bit, because I didn't like these little tiny spots here. So on the one I revised, those are gone, and it looks a little smoother. See how that one's got like a little chunk of paper, but it really won't matter because it's going to be mostly hidden. But I did fix that on that was one of the things I revised after I cut this out, because I didn't like that so much. I almost forgot. We need to do our little centers on the flowers. So I'll just kind of scribble those in. don't know about you all, but I have like way too many gel pens and things. They're just so fun. I have a really bad school/office supply problem. Craft supply, all of it. Okay, so now we're going to put the back and or the middle and the back together. And so what I'm going to do is this part of the card, I'm going to have it go backwards. Like this little flap is going to bend backwards. So what I want to do is flip it over and line up this edge with this fold, this score line on the very back panel. So this is what I'm talking about. So we'll just glue it down and line it up where that score line is. I'll get my glue to go. So I need to, and I wouldn't do it like, excuse me, right on top of the score line, but just slightly off from it. Here's the score line, and there's just a tiny space there, just so that it has room to bend. And let that get good and dry. Okay, and hold it down a little bit. Make sure it's even on the bottom. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. After I flipped it over, I'm going to put a little bit of glue here, and then I'm going to flip this piece over. Instead of trying to stand it up and do it. Is that right? Oops, I think I messed up. Dang it. No, that's right. Okay, because that's how it would be like if it folded down. So let's get it dry first. Or dry enough. All right. So when I stand it up, then you can see how those, maybe you can see where that goes into the back, or faces to the back. All right, so that's together. And so now I can take my front piece, it's being a little, and we're going to glue this piece onto the box, the front of the box. All right, so I'm going to get my glue up here. And line it up. And this is the tricky part. I like to flip it where I can make sure that bottom edge is good and even, and then just kind of hold it for a few minutes, a few seconds, until it's mostly dry. And there you have it. You are you have completed your box card. I do hope you found this video helpful and that you'll check out my shops and see what new things I have coming. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.